So welcome all to our second meeting of the semester. Um, Thank you all again for coming, and we have a lot of great and exciting updates for y'all. Some exciting developments. So let's get on it. So a quick overview. So we're going to be working with historic rugby this semester. I know we had Jordan Hewitt and Dr. McQuill and Dr. Blair speak about rugby last year, but for those who are a little bit still unfamiliar with it, historic rugby was founded in 1880 as a utopian community by British author and social reformer Thomas Hughes. The intention was so that second sons of the English gentry could, pursue new lives for themselves, since it's often that the first sons got the inheritance. So the second sons often were left with nothing. And Dr. McQuail, if I'm saying anything wrong, please feel free to butt in. And so
You're
rugby,
fine.
as and so rugby, as Dr. McQuail said, it is on the intersection of Morgan, Scott, Fentress County, so about an hour and a half away from Tech. And it does have one of the oldest libraries in the United States. There's a picture of it on the next slide, and there's 18 other original buildings as well. So there's essentially something for everybody, whether there's historical tours, hiking, events. There's a lot of great culture, a lot of great heritage. So we're very excited to be working with them this year. And so the book, so we have a few service projects kind of coming up in the air. This is one of the main ones. So we're going to head a book club here at Tech to essentially lead the discussion among rural communities. So we're wanting to promote rugby through a book club that essentially incorporates rugby literature or rugby related, rural related literature. So what we need is at least one or two students who are very willing to take on this project. One of the great things about this club is that we're providing these opportunities for students like you all to lead these projects and to take on these roles to essentially promote, to either serve rural communities, whether it be through promoting discussion, whether it be actually going out and helping the area. So because of COVID, we can't really, there's not much room for travel and other things like that, and to go out and meet people in person. So we're deciding to host a book club to just promote that discussion. So if you are interested in heading this venture, please email me. My email will be on the subsequent slides, but we'll have you guided by Dr. McQuail, Jordan, and some other rugby residents workers to get this book club started. We're hoping that it will be up in November, or hopefully up November or next semester, and we want this to be kind of like a semester-long thing. And you'll be in charge of selecting the books, doing the discussion questions. You'll basically help just facilitate the discussion. So please let us know if you're interested in heading this project. We really want this to be a big success, and it may be a smaller scale, and we're gonna especially with the people involved in it, and we're gonna try to get tech students to join. But still, it could definitely make a big impact in how people learn about what's going on in rural areas, and especially what is rugby essentially. So there's also many opportunities that Jordan Hewitt actually shared with me. So these are a few of the opportunities that if you want to get involved with historic rugby, we need people to essentially do all of this. So they really need help cleaning and rehabilitating the greenhouses. So if you have a green thumb, or if you're biology or wildlife, that's an opportunity for you all to get involved. They really also need help to develop an online store for their commissary, so to support local craftspeople. So that's definitely an exciting and opportunity for anyone who's in business or entrepreneurship, to really develop that um, online store, so that way these local craftspeople could have that media to sell their products. If you're also an aspiring photographer, we need help to take pictures at their events to share on social media as advertising. So please, and also they need help cleaning up their flower beds and finding ways to engage younger audiences to visit rugby. So a lot of this is, there's a lot of volunteer and internship opportunities, or not really internship, but more of just they wait service learning opportunities. So these are a lot of volunteer and service learning opportunities that you can get involved in with rugby. So if you want to learn more, we'll definitely have time for questions at the end. But if you want to learn more, please let me know. Send me a message in Zoom or um, send me an email, and definitely we can get you connected with Jordan so that way you could help out these rugby, and you may be able to visit up there or do some things virtually. So an exciting update we have is the Rural Journey Speaker Series. So we talked about, so we are very excited that next week, so next Tuesday at October 6th at 3 p.m., we are hosting our first virtual conversation with Becky McGruer, the president and CEO of WCTE TV. That is the local PBS station that caters to broadcast to the entire Upper Cumberland region. So that's 14 counties. And we have our very own Dawson Davidson, ag business management student and local TV personality as well, and national recognized poultry caretaker. So we're very excited to have them both talk about, you know, their rural journeys, their work with rural, their advocacy. So it will be held virtually and it will be held via Teams, but you can just, there's a link on, if you go on to www.tntech.edu/tab, there will be a link. And so at 3 p.m., please log in, and there will be opportunities for you all to ask questions, to interact with our speakers. So please mark that on your calendars. And we would love to have you all come, because essentially the goal of this speaker series is to promote this rural discussion. We want people to learn, not only learn about, we want people to learn about the opportunities that is available to help rural areas. And we want them to also learn more about the issues that rural areas face. So please come out and support Rural Reimagined tab and our speakers. And another exciting update is that this Thursday on at 5 p.m., I was invited by Becky McGruer actually to be on her Live at 5 program, which will be broadcast at 5 o'clock, to talk about the exciting things we're doing with Rural Reimagined, to talk about the Rural Speaker Series, my experience at Tech. So it will be aired on live TV on the WCTE PBS station, as well as their Facebook and YouTube pages. So I'd love it if you could go and watch that. I'm very excited. I actually will be meeting later to help prep for that. But oops, excuse me. And so please, I would love it if you could all watch both, you know, my TV interview this Thursday, as well as our speaker series next Tuesday. And I'll be sending out the dates sometime later, hopefully soon. So we have obviously our officer position updates. So our new secretary will be Sarah Moore. And Sarah Brown has delightfully taken up the responsibility to head social media. So we are in need of a graphic design chair. So this person will be in charge of creating infographics and pictures for social media and other marketing materials, because we really need people to create great infographics like the one you see on this slide. So if you know some social media, if you know some graphic design, some Canva, or you know somebody, please let me know. And we just need someone to really make some great images so that we can share out all the amazing things we're doing in the club with the rest of the tech community. So another opportunity that we have this semester, this upcoming month, is a radio interview opportunity, and this is open to everyone. So you don't have to. So we don't have to. You don't have to. Sorry, I saw someone I knew. So we don't have to. You don't have to be a member last year. Essentially, last semester, we did an education PSA headed by Dr. Julie C. Baker, the Associate Dean of Education in the College of Education. She is an amazing, wonderful, I say amazing a lot, but she is so sweet, so kind. She is definitely a great person to just talk and chat with. And so if you're unfamiliar, our last semester service project was an education PSA. So we had students film videos themselves talking about a teacher who impacted them. And so sometime this month, if you're interested, we will be taking a group of students from the club to do either a phone interview or an in-person recording session at Stonecom, at their studios, or both, to just talk about, like, teachers who have impacted them, because the goal is to broadcast this to students in the Upper Cumberland to inspire them to pursue careers in teaching and go back to their rural areas to teach, because oftentimes many rural schools face dramatic teacher shortages and can't find enough teachers to teach their future, teach the next generation of kids. So basically, if you're interested in doing this, let me know. Email me or just DM me in Zoom, and that way, once we get a group of students, we'll we'll sit down, have make a list of possible dates to have this radio interview. Hopefully, will be sometime maybe in the afternoon, possibly after fall break, because I know midterms is really getting really busy coming weeks. So let me know. I would love it if we have a group of like 4 or 5 students, however so many we have, to go and do this radio interview. And so the last volunteer opportunity that I'm mentioning today is Preview Day. So you don't need to be a last year member. We really would love anyone to come. So Preview Day is this week, Friday, October 2nd from 3 to 6, and Saturday, October 3rd from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. So we need students to represent Rural Reimagined at our booth on both days. So we'll have a booth representing innovation, entrepreneurship, and Rural Reimagined. So lunch is provided. So they'll have free lunch, and it was pretty good when I did it this weekend. We would love it if you could wear a tech shirt and polo, and it will be on Centennial Plaza. So if you could work this booth, I know we have a few people already signed up to do Saturday. So we just want maybe 3-4 students. I know I'll be able to come Saturday, and just to share there, just like a little bit about Rural Reimagined to prospective students. You don't even have to have been a member. Like if you are unfamiliar with Rural Reimagined but still want to come, we would love to have you, since this is for prospective students. So people who are possibly going to tech next fall, and I would love it if we have anyone from art, just freshmen to sophomores to people who are about to graduate to MBA students, because that provides just a diversity of perspective to these prospective students. And also you'll be able to learn a little bit more about Rural Reimagine as you refine that pitch and trying to share about it to these students and parents. So please let me know if you are interested. And so so pretty much that is pretty much that is just it for our updates this semester. So and I see Dr. Krosnick, are you there?
Yes.
Awesome. I will introduce you in just a minute. We're just finishing up these last updates. So thank you so much for coming.
Sure, no problem. I'm just gonna close my door.
Thank you. So so Dr. Krosnick is our yes.
I would reiterate that all of the opportunities that you just listed would be fabulous on a resume. They could build into bigger opportunities. So maybe say that in your own words.
Oh, definitely. So all of these opportunities that we share with rugby, with the Stonecom interview, even Preview Day, they'd be all great, to put. So I'm a career ambassador, so they all be great to put on a resume to show employers that that you are very interested in serving these areas and serving rural areas, and not only that, that you're wanting to apply a lot of the skills you learn in class, in your classes, outside of classes, in these opportunities. So service learning is a great way to not only boost up your resume, but it's also a great way to just learn about different people, perspectives, opportunities, different skills outside of the traditional classroom. And I definitely know a lot. I definitely have gained a lot from it. So please do please definitely, if you are interested in any of the opportunities we just shared, please let me know. And they're great ways for you to just learn, to grow as a lifelong learner, and to not only that, but to just apply your passion and your interest in serving areas that are often very underserved and distressed. So so wrapping up the information section so that we could have the awesome Dr. Krosnick to speak about her amazing work and research. We have, so our upcoming meetings are Tuesday, October 20th at 11 a.m. and Tuesday, November 10th at 11 a.m. So please, mark your calendars. I would say with the planners you got from when we gave out a lot of free swag, but those are 2021. So but be sure to mark your calendars with this, and it will be the same Zoom link, but I will send this every single time for every before the meetings. And let's see. And so the Rural Journey Speaker Series, our upcoming speaker event is next Tuesday, October 6th at 3 p.m. with Becky McGurr and Dawson Davison. So please come out and support. And our upcoming dates for the Rural Journey Speaker Series are Tuesday, October 27th at 3 p.m. And we'll have this is a STEAM education talk with Dr. Catherine Jones, principal of Prescott South Elementary School, and Casey Garrison, the assistant principal of Capshaw Elementary School, both here in Cookeville. And Casey Garrison was actually the STEAM teacher at Prescott South Middle School. And Prescott South Elementary and Middle School are both the only two STEM designated schools in the state of Tennessee. So we're very great. It's very great to have them to talk about how they were able to get their schools to be STEM designated. So Tuesday, October 27th, we'll send more information out closer to time. And Tuesday, November 17th at 3 p.m., we'll have Mason Hilliard. He's now the Tennessee Tech admissions counselor for the West Tennessee. He's from the county over from mine. And he also was the former SGA president and the former student trustee last year on the board of trustees. So he is an amazing guy, phenomenal. And so we're still determining the speaker to pair with him, but please mark your calendar with these dates. Will be also up on the tab tntech.edu/lab. So you are not on email, or DM me with your emails, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at TNTechRRC or at TNTech Rural Reimagined. Definitely, we're Sarah Brown in charge of social media. Hopefully we'll be able to boost our presence. So definitely follow us on social media, or and email me if you're not on our email list. So I think that's all. So I'm going to ask this question at the end. So that way, since Dr. Krosnick is here, so does anyone have any questions before we begin, before we have Dr. Krosnick speak?
I do have one question real quick. Sorry about the delay. Can you hear me okay? Okay, I was wondering,
for a second, so
you were talking about cleaning up in rugby, and that stuck out to me because all of the other things required particular skills that I don't have. And I do know a couple people who aren't involved in the club and might not end up involved, but they would probably be willing to come out and help with that. So I was wondering if we had a set time period when we were hoping for that to happen. Just referring to like the flower bed cleanup you were talking about and the different outside stuff to like make it look nicer.
All right, Kester, did you hear any of that question?
Sorry. No, my internet just cut out right there. So like, sure. So I haven't been able to hear it. I was gonna text you if you could answer it, Doctor.
I don't know the answer to it, but the question was, when will the cleanup happen at rugby, and can people that are not part of the club join in the cleanup?
So the cleanup is whenever you want to plan it. So if you want to take charge of it, I'll get you in touch with Jordan Hewitt, and you can reach out. You can start planning a date, and you can involve people who are not in the club. The goal of Rural Reimagined is that even if you're not in the club, we want everyone to get involved. So feel free to invite as many people as you want who are not part of the club to take part.
Okay, I'm going to jump in and promote rugby here too. This Saturday is homecoming weekend at rugby, if you just want to go out and check it out. And then on October 10th, Dr. Blair is doing a photography workshop, and that would be another good day to come out. I mean, there's always something that needs to be done around rugby, but we should clear that with Annie Patterson, the operations manager, through Jordan Hewitt, who Kester mentioned.
Awesome. So thank you so much. Any quick questions before we turn it over to Dr. Krosnick? Okay, so sorry to keep you waiting, Dr. Krosnick. So, so today's guest speaker is Dr. Shawn Krosnick. She's an associate professor of biology here at Tennessee Tech, and also the director of the Paul Hollister Herbarium. And so we're very happy to have her on today. So I'm going to turn it over now to you, Dr. Krosnick. Sorry to keep you waiting a little bit.
No, that's fine. Thanks for making time for me to talk. Thanks for inviting me. I do want to make sure when I start talking that I make sure I address all of the topics that you might like me to talk about, and then also that I know when to stop talking because I could talk forever. So can you give me just a little bit more, because like I said, I do better with some guidelines on that. And I know you gave me some, but just to make sure.
Right. I mean, I would love for you if you talk about, your research with native plants, with especially in the, being in a rural area with Tennessee having some of the most diverse wildlife in the world. So would you talk about your research, just anything you would like to talk about, since we want our students to know of the opportunities to get involved on campus, and possibly maybe there's a student here that might want to connect with you since they're interested in your research.
Okay. All right. So I'll talk for a little bit, and then, like I said, feel free to anybody to interject or ask questions or tell me to stop talking.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm a botanist. I study the relationships among plants, and so the group of plants that I specialize in is not anything that's super abundant in Tennessee. I study passion flowers that are tropical primarily, but what's nice is that there are actually a lot of there's 2 species of passiflora passion flowers that occur around here, and so I've been able to kind of continue some of that work with the species in Middle Tennessee. In fact, one of the species that I study a lot now that I'm here is Passiflora incarnata, which is the state wildflower for Tennessee. And so, that's kind of one direction with my research that focuses on these plants that have really interesting questions about their biology, and they happen to occur kind of all around Tennessee, but they also are further distributed across the southeast. So there's 2 species, like I said, Passiflora incarnata, which is the purple passion flower, and that occurs a lot on the side of roadsides and farm fields. Then there's another species that's less common, which is these tiny little white flowers, Passiflora lutea. But anyway, so that's some of my original research. And then in terms of what I kind of came to Tech thinking about is really passion flowers, and there's 600 species, and like I said, only 2 of them are around here, but it's still pretty fun to find opportunities to do research locally, and especially because they are native plants. But what I've gotten more into, especially lately, is trying to develop our native plant garden that we have in between Johnson Hall and Pennebaker. And I teach field botany, and so it's good for me to get involved with growing plants that we can use, so we can have a lab right on campus, or a place for students to study in person rather than having to travel. The idea with the garden is that we show that it is easy and sometimes often very beautiful to garden with native plants. And so that's the idea, is getting native plants more into the landscape, instead of, there's nothing wrong with buying plants that grow, that are for sale at local nurseries that aren't native. But in terms of, what's beneficial for the habitats around us, native plants are obviously going to give a lot more benefits, both for wildlife and especially for insect diversity. And so I've spent a lot of time with the students in those classes, and we've built up these gardens, and each garden bed we have has a different theme, which is a different habitat in Tennessee. So, you know, there are, for example, there's cedar glade habitat, there's music woodland, we have prairie, we have wetland. And so some of these beds that we have out there, especially this spring, have been kind of rough looking because we didn't have any help because of the virus. And so we've really got kind of a backlog of overgrowth that we're trying to get volunteers to help with. And so that would certainly, if anybody ever wants to come work in the garden, the issue is that we have a lot of rare plants that we're now growing in the garden as a kind of repository for some of the different state agencies. And so we have some special plants on there. So I can't just tell people to go out and like start weeding. You have to kind of know what is okay to pull and what's not okay. And so that's the only complication with it. So I try to have like weekend days where I can supervise volunteers. It's just hard because I'm really the only person that is doing all of this. Plus I have all of my other responsibilities. And so I would love help. I just have to make a point to set up those volunteer days. But in the end, what we hope to do with that garden is to, you know, get it back on track for next fall, or sorry, for this fall, kind of get most of the weeds under control. And then eventually the plan is for our botany club and our botany club is kind of like in an off year. We've had some people kind of graduate and the enthusiasm has died down a little bit. So I think it's a good opportunity for us to reinvent ourselves. But what we're going to do is start offering these plants for sale as a fundraiser and cultivating native plants that can be, you know, sold, propagated and sold. And so we'll have like a fundraiser every year for the garden that way. So, and that's another way to like get the campus involved with the community and, you know, get people to come from Cookeville or wherever they want to come from and buy native plants for their gardens. And so we already started doing a lot of that. But unfortunately with the virus and the shutdown, we ended up, you know, it didn't go anywhere. So I'm looking forward to, we'll also be selling like native seed packets and things so that people can plant them directly in their garden. So, you know, and the other thing too is like, I would love for more people to use that garden as a resource for teaching in some way. We've had discussions with the art department about coming and doing drawing classes in the greenhouse or in the garden. You know, you can think of lots of different, it's really kind of meant to be an outdoor classroom. And we're also trying to get money somehow in the process, either if we have to fundraise it or convince the administrative powers that be that we need a shade structure in the back because it's really hot out there and nobody ever wants to spend too much time, you know? So anyway, the garden is really like a work in progress is what I'm trying to say. There's still a lot that needs to be done. But the idea is that we will be continuously kind of taking care of it. And then students are learning about the native plants. They learn the names of them for their classes and how to grow them. And hopefully they look really pretty. And then other people walking through campus will want to come and grow those same plants for their own gardens, you know? So I don't know. So that's one thing. And then we've got the greenhouse, you know, of course, which is really meant to like convince students that plants are awesome. Like that's a goal when you go in the greenhouse, is to be like knocked off your, you know, off your feet, like, oh wow, it's supposed to be more of a botanical conservatory, and we're actually remodeling it right now inside to get it set up as a permanent installation. So I don't know. So my research, like my actual lab research and formal research, is not necessarily the same stuff that I do as like the public outreach kind of side of things with students and use that as teaching opportunities. So I have a lot of different things that I'm interested in. And I mean, the biggest goal though, I think, is like sharing native plants in a way that's encouraging to other people to see, oh, this is really beautiful. I want to grow it in my garden. And I can, you know, because here I can buy this plant easily kind of thing. So the kind of a learning opportunity for campus, but also we have a good network of people from Cookeville that come in and volunteer as well. So, but we always need more people. So that's some of it that we do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Krosnick. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Krosnick?
Well, I have a question for the club in general. So I'm a beekeeper, and I was wondering if there's a way I could like incorporate my like beekeeping experience like to help rural communities, either through like possibly helping to pollinate like a lot of rural communities center around farms, so like maybe to help pollinate their farms or something along that lines. So I don't know, is there something like that I could do?
Yeah, for sure. Dr. Cross, is there a way that, like, let's say, for example, if Nick wants to work maybe like bee pollination and native plants, is there a way that they could tie in somehow? Or
I mean, certainly. Well, so I know that there are you. What are you? What is your major? Are you like part of? What do you do, or is that a hobby?
It's a hobby. I'm accounting, so
Okay. I know there is I feel like there's a beekeeping club on campus. There's something through the College of Ag that there's because I had a student, they even made like this very well produced promotion video about it at Tech. And so I would encourage you to look into what they're doing just to find some other people to, but also for that perspective, like usually when I think of where bees are needed, it's certainly like you're saying, it's like crops, that would be beneficial or that would benefit from it. And so they would probably know the places that would like love to have your bees visit. But I don't know of anything specifically. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to having bees in our garden because I think that would be really cool just as a learning opportunity for students. I don't know when would be appropriate to do all that, but I mean, if you could see that being something that could happen in the future, I can't see why it wouldn't be a good thing for us. Do you know where the garden is in terms of like the location and the size of it? I don't know if it's appropriate for the number of bees that you would have or how that would work. It's just between Johnson Hall and Pennebaker, and there's a big greenhouse in front of it. It's kind of across from the UC on A Street.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I think that'd be kind of fun. The other thing I've always had a dream about is having a butterfly enclosure somehow for students. We have all these really beautiful native butterflies. So that would be it. Anyway, yeah, I think more bugs, the better. The biggest thing about insect diversity is that if you want to have high levels of insect diversity, you need to have native plants, because people's gardens with the type of plants that we grow in our gardens are not going to foster high insect diversity. So healthier ecosystems come from native plants.
awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Does anyone else have any questions for Dr. Krosnick as well? You've been such a great, I'm so very grateful that you've come here. I've definitely learned a lot from you, Dr. Krosnick, and I'm sure the rest of our members have. Does anyone else have any questions?
I have one quick question for Dr. Krosnick.
Sure.
You mentioned people coming in to help clean up the area on weekends, but I was wondering if you had specific dates set aside or if that was just something that I could reach out to you about.
Yeah, so I have I guess I've kind of transitioned this semester to using Microsoft Teams a lot. And prior to that, I had like a, whatever you call it, like a mail group within Microsoft. I don't know what it's called, a group of emails where I can send one email out to a bunch of people. And I was having people added to that. And so usually what might be easiest is if you send me your email, or you could probably just send me an email with your information and say, please add me to that. Eventually I'll transition it to a Microsoft Teams group, because I think that's actually a lot easier to use. And then that way, anytime we do stuff out there, everybody's just notified if they want to come or not. Like I said, my problem right now is just making time to do it, but it's gonna be happening pretty soon, because I usually offer my students in my botany class extra credit for volunteering. And so they're asking me about when they're going to get their extra credit. And so I need to set up those days. It's usually like one Saturday and one Sunday, but because of social distancing, even though we're outside, I still think I need to do smaller groups, so I will have multiple dates is kind of the take home. So yes, so just send me an email. I think that'd be the easiest thing to do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And I just put your email in the chat. Oh,
Thanks.
sorry. I just put I put your email in the chat. So
I just want to say I put it on chat too, but just in case you don't notice, there's an unused greenhouse at Rugby that was obtained through a grant years ago, and
Oh, wow.
the person who got the grant, you know, as people do, kind of drifted away. So that's a definite project that could come to fruition, pun intended, at Rugby.
Right. Cool. Yeah, I need to learn a lot more about what you guys are doing. My general thing right now is I'm so completely overloaded. I can't even do my own things, but I certainly think that I have a lot of students who are interested in getting involved in things, and that might be really, really great. So I need to learn more about what you guys are doing for sure.
That'd be fantastic. Just check out the website and come visit sometime.
Yeah. Okay. For sure. Thank you. Yeah. Dr. Bowles had contacted me about that at one point too. So I'm happy to do it. I just have to find time for all of these things. We're all so busy, you know. But
I know. October 10th is fall break. Come on out, Dr. Krosnick.
Yeah. I'll put it on my calendar. That's for sure. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Awesome. And it was actually Dr. Bowles who like recommended me to have you as a speaker, because I was like, who should be a speaker in like one of our meetings? He was like, dude, talk to Dr. Krosnick. So definitely, well, definitely I'd love to, you know, hopefully once you're like less busy, I can, you know, meet again with you and tell you more about Rural Reimagined. Hopefully if you have any students interested in just getting involved, you know, with like rugby or rural communities, please connect them with us. So that way we could facilitate those connections and stuff like that.
How far is the drive like from Cookeville to get there?
Dr. McQuail or Dr. Blair, I think you may know.
Like an hour.
It's a little over an hour, but the confusing thing is Rugby's on Eastern time. So sometimes it can take you 2 hours and sometimes it takes you just an hour.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I was going to say, I could see us definitely wanting to go visit for spring semester, because we teach field botany and we're always looking for different places to go collect. And I guess you have not just the area on the, you know, on the grounds, but isn't there a lot of kind of wild area as well near there?
Yeah, Big South Fork is adjacent. I mean, Rugby borders on that. Yeah, and there's actually in spring a wildflower walk usually, and the park rangers have an office in Rugby during the season. So yeah, please, that'd be great.
Okay, that would be great. Okay. Anyway, absolutely, I'll follow up on that.
Awesome. Does anyone else have any last questions for Dr. Krosnick before we end off this meeting? Well, you can hear the bells in the background, but thank you so much again, Dr. Krosnick, for coming to our meeting. It was definitely great to have you. I'll give a round of applause to Dr. Krosnick really quick. But
thanks for listening to me talk about a bunch of random stuff. So thank you. And if you want to get involved, that'd be awesome. We always need more people. So, and same for you. Now that I know a little bit more about what you guys are doing too, that's helpful for me. So.
Awesome. And we definitely popped your email down in the chat. So hopefully if anyone is interested in, you know, working with anything that Dr. Krosnick works on, please just feel free to reach out to her or reach out to us and we can facilitate that connection as well. So does anyone have any last minute questions regarding just everything Rural Reimagined related or anything else? Okay, awesome. Well, I'm going to adjourn this meeting officially. So thank you all for coming. It definitely was a great meeting. Very, very glad to know a little bit more about all of you. And thanks again to Dr. Krosnick for speaking. And thanks again to Dr. Blair and Dr. McQuail for coming and helping as well. So if there's nothing else, I'm gonna say just 1 minute if anyone else has any last questions, but feel free to just hop off and so please feel to come to our Rural Journey Speaker Series next Tuesday at 3 o'clock. You go on the tntech.edu/tab for more info about how to join, but please do watch that and my TV appearance this Thursday at 5 o'clock on WCTE. So feel free to put those on your calendars and thank you so much for all coming.